Welcome to Local Lives. Today we have a wonderful guest, Reaghan. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Tanse. My name is Reaghan. I'm a 21-year-old beadwork artist. I'm mixed Cree, French-Ukrainian, and I belong to Peguis Nation in Manitoba.
Wonderful. We're excited to have you. We can see you have a lot of different things out and about here.
Yes. I have my personal collection of things that I've kept and a few things that are for sale right now. And then I also have my little beading setup so I can show you how I do what I do.
You tell us your beading story.
Okay. Obviously, I've always known that beadwork was a Cree tradition, especially not mainly a female thing, but mostly associated with like grandmas and aunties. So yeah, I always knew it was a thing. And then when I started reconnecting, I was like, oh, that might be something I want to try. I knew my grandma was trying it. She was going to some classes. So I bought my first pair of beaded earrings from my friend Lillian. She's Inuk from Montreal. She's one of my best friends to this day. And she taught me the basics to start and try, even though I had doubts in myself. Obviously, as a whiter native, she's a super good friend. She really helped me with everything. She taught me all the basics. Was bridesmaid in her wedding, so we built a really good friendship on that. And yeah, I brought a piece of her here with me today. I always have this little turtle. This little turtle is my beading friend. I've had him for about 3 years, so he's always with me. So she's always with me. Yeah.
Sounds like a really special connection and friendship was cultivated through the beading.
Definitely, yeah.
How has beading impacted your reconnection journey?
Oh, big time. Big time. After I started, I started slowly telling my dad, because my dad grew up being told to be to be ashamed of who we are. And obviously, so then I grew up that way. So when I started beading and I started doing these cool things, I'd show him and I'd be like, hey, look what I did. Isn't this cool? And then he'd be like, oh, yeah. And then it would start a conversation, and then he would tell me about his childhood and our family. And it was kind of the gateway into learning about who I am and who my dad is and where we're from. So it really opened up a whole realm for myself and my family.
So not only did it have a tremendous impact on you, but your father and your family as well?
Yes, I say everything I do, I do for my dad and my grandma. Out this morning, it was usually grandmas teach you to be proud of yourself, but I feel I'm teaching my dad and my grandma what I'm learning. So I feel it's kind of backwards as to what you normally see, but it's also kind of cool that I'm able to change the narrative for my family. So
Generational wound.
yes, exactly. From the bottom up. Started right out of high school. I did 2 years of criminal justice, and then I had multiple losses in my family, and then I dropped out and have taken the last few years trying to figure life out and deal with grief. And I'm starting June 1st. I'm going back to finish my degree, so that'll be exciting, so I can have something to fall back on.
That's super exciting.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little of why, to you, beading is culturally significant?
Yeah, of course. I love going out in public with my earrings on, and then spotting another native, and then they spot the earrings, and then we're okay, and then we know, I know that you're a safe person. We have shared history, shared feelings. So it's super nice, in that sense. Beadwork really opened up a whole realm for me and my family, and yeah, like when I first showed my dad like some of my stuff, he pulled out some of his old beadwork, and he has this like big belt with his name on it that he made when he was a kid. So, and then like we got to talking about that and the stories around it, which like opened up even more of like my own family's history.
So the act of beading impacted your wellness and your well-being.
Well, I bead every single day, all the time. I feel like when I start beading, I can like shut my brain off, and it's like everything, just like all my problems go away, and it's just like me. It sounds silly, but it's just me and the mat, and I'm just beading away, and I feel like whenever I'm in that like beading realm, it's just like me, my ancestors, and we're just like going ham.
Going ham. Do you think your ancestors would say if they could see the work that you now make?
I think they're extremely proud. I know I make my grandma extremely proud, because we're like told to be ashamed. So I think now like them seeing like a younger person doing it, like their hearts, and like healing some of the wounds that they got. And for my ancestors that are no longer with us, I wish I could have met them, but I know they're proud. I feel them with me when times are tough.
They're definitely proud.
Yeah.
Reconnecting is healing.
Yeah.
You described your style of beading.
Okay, I really like to mix like traditional with like pop culture. So I'm putting like a pop culture or something that I really like from today, but I'm also putting aspects of it that like in the way that my ancestors would have, like traditional materials like the hide, and then I've also used like porcupine quills. These ones I used birch bark. Ooh, that was gifted to me from a friend. So known for like the funky colors and all like the characters, and just like me and Lillian always say, like when we like see a piece on Instagram, we know who made it. Everyone has that little touch. You can't really explain it like to a T, but everyone's got their own little touch.
Now, do you work at one piece at a time, or do you kind of have like a whole bunch and, one day's this day, kind of whatever you're feeling?
I am the absolute worst, and I probably work on 6 pieces at a time.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I always have something going that I'm going to post for sale on my website, or something going that I'm making for someone. I like to gift my beadwork to friends and family. When I get my nails done, I often trade with my nail artist. This is actually for her that I'm gonna finish on camera. So,
how has your beading evolved into a business?
Okay, well, shortly after I started beading, COVID happened. So I was stuck at home, obviously couldn't work. So I would make stuff, I'd take orders, and then like when COVID started like going away, I went back to work, and I would bead on the side. And then COVID happened again, so I'd bead full time. I have faith that like I can do it, so I left one of these toxic workplaces. And then it's been a few months since then, and yeah, my business has kind of just like skyrocketed from that point. Yeah, it's been insane. It's been crazy.
You say that
I have been talking about beading full time for probably a year and a half. And then one day it just happened, and I was like, oh, okay, this is it now.
Has your business been received by the community?
It blows my mind every day that like people will like give me money to create something for them. And like I get messages all the time, and it's like, I love like coming home from work and like hopping on Instagram and like seeing what you've made that day. And it blows my mind that like so many people, like Indigenous and non-Indigenous, like look forward to seeing my work. And like it's crazy, because like I just sit in my room at my desk and I bead, and people love it. So it's surreal.
Well, I guess you could say each of these pieces you create carries a piece of you within them. So
Absolutely.
the creative work, they come directly from your imagination. And how does it feel to know not only is there such a demand for them, but so many people now carrying them with them?
Oh yeah. So like when I look at like my spread here, like I know what I was going through, like good and bad things, like when I made them. And then like knowing that other people have those like that medicine like in it, it's a little scary because like some of them have like hard times, but then I like reframe it and be like, that piece taught me that lesson in life. So like although I was like going through this when I made it, it taught me this. And then maybe my piece can bring this person some other kind of joy,
Carries your strength with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any advice for maybe any beaters who are just getting into it?
Yes. Don't copy anyone. Do your own thing. Sometimes even still I'm like, oh, like there's like other beaters that are like I like the way like their stuff looks. Like, and then I start just like spiraling down. I'm like, oh, like I don't like the stuff I do. Like there's too much color. Like it needs to be like more toned down. But then I'm like, wait, no, that's my style. So don't try to be like everyone else. Just do your own thing. Because like even if you're just starting, you'll find your own.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, for any, I guess, young entrepreneurs or just starting out entrepreneurs and specifically Indigenous entrepreneurs, would you have any advice for them?
And rely on your community. They're the best help. I'm not at all self-made. I am a piece of everyone that I've ever met and that I've ever worked with or talked to.
Would you say your sense of community since you started beading has grown?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So much. I just made earrings for someone's regalia. And that is like so meaningful to me that like now like I'm a piece of her family and like her family's journey, and like my work is gonna like be passed down with her dress, and like that also surreal. Like all of it is surreal. Crazy. And like I get to meet so many people, and like I get to meet like you guys and like my best friend who lives across the country. I got to be in her wedding because of this. Like my whole life has really changed just because of beading.
So you found your calling.
Yes.
Cultivated community. You've reconnected. You've embarked on a wonderful journey.
Yeah.
What do you think your younger self would say or feel about it all?
She probably would not believe it. Like growing up, my dad would be like you're not Indigenous enough. That he didn't want me to like have to deal with the things that he dealt with in his life. Tell her like things are gonna be tough, but they're also like gonna be okay. You're gonna learn lots, and you're gonna help your dad.
I'm glad you're about to embark on it.
Yeah. Well, and my dad's not like that anymore. Like I feel like we're kind of like I bead, but we're on this like journey together. So
what would you say to yourself that just started beading now that you make all this wonderful, incredible work?
Don't compare yourself. And again, don't try to be like other people. Just do your own thing. When I started, I just went ham. Like since the day I started, I have not stopped. I'm crazy. Like people will order something and then I'll be done like 2 days later, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, you're already done?" And I'm like, "Yep." I don't stop. I sleep and I bead. That's it. And you will improve is something I would tell myself. You will get better. And looking back on the stuff that I made a long time ago that I didn't like I hated this. I love it now because I can see how much I've grown.
The first thing you beaded?
I tried to find them. I couldn't find them. It's a pair of fringe earrings they're light blue beads, and I made them with black thread. They're so funny. I love them. I wish I knew where they were because I wanted to bring them. I love looking at them though.
You know exactly what they look like still, hey?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I did each fringe by themselves. Like I made the base and then I did one fringe and then I cut it and then I did another one. But now you're not supposed to do that. You're like supposed to go like into the next one. But
How many pieces do you think you've completed now? If you could put a number.
oh my God, hundreds. 300?
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That's a lot. You have
Yeah.
like crazy.
I might have to get you a solid answer to that.
You were getting about just since you started.
Yeah. It's been 3 years of nonstop.
Wow. It's 100 or pieces a year.
Yeah.
That's a lot to bring yourself back then into that, that state, that flow state you find when you're beating, when you're frustrated.
When I get super frustrated, I'll usually take a day or two off. I don't even have to do anything. I'll just like walk inside and be like, I want to bead. I'll just call to me. I'm like, I miss it. I have to. And then I always have one project going that's like something for myself back into it.
So it's like your form of self-care.
Yeah. Yeah.
How important is it to you then to, make sure you put yourself first with those pieces?
Very. I wasn't good at it before. I never kept anything for myself. I was really in a mindset of like, oh, well, like I need to like produce and like keep up with like Instagram, and I need to be making like a post a day of like something new. And I was like, that's just like not good. That's not good for like my mental health, and like that's also not good like for my art. Like I don't want to rush my art. So I really learned to like come to a place where I'm gonna like if I want to do it, I'll do it, and if I don't want to do it, I'm not gonna do it.
So it helps keep the magic,
Yes.
the imagination, and the fun.
Yeah. Like
It's wonderful that you're able to keep that capacity for self-care. And as I imagine, especially when all these pieces are so meaningful, that it can be hard to, as you're saying, to separate.
yeah. Like to balance out like orders and like my creativity, because when like sometimes when people order, like they know what they want, right? And obviously I have no problem like making what they want, but after I'm done that like making what they want, I'm like, okay, now I need to go make what I want. So I like being able to like bounce back and forth between like making like stuff specifically the way like someone sees it, and then being able to do whatever I want. I like bouncing back.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
One of the ones that I've made that is going to be available, and these are actually for my friend. She told me I could do whatever I want. She gave me a color palette, and then this is what I came up with.
Wow.
Yeah, so I also like those kind of orders. Know that they'll be taken good care of. And people always send me pictures when they receive them and like when they wear them. So I still get to see them. They're still a part of me. They're just not with me.
So when you see those pictures of people sharing them, telling you how much they love them, how does that feel?
Again, surreal. It's insane. I'm like, you are like saying all of these wonderful things about something that I made just like in my bedroom. It's wild. It's crazy.
It must be wonderful.
Yeah. It makes me feel really like it would make my younger self really happy. And like when I just started beading, it would make her really happy.
To get asked this a lot as someone who sells their beadwork and practices it traditionally. What does cultural appropriation versus cultural appreciation look like to you?
Okay. Well, there's lines to be drawn everywhere, obviously. But appreciation to me is like a non-Indigenous person buying a pair of my earrings, wearing them, loving them, taking care of them, telling people the story behind them. Like, yeah, like spreading awareness about issues and just like respecting it, acknowledging me and the time and effort that it took to make it, and like my knowledge and my skills going like all the way back to my ancestors, and just really respecting that. And then appropriation would be like if someone were to buy my earrings and then receive them and they're like, ooh, like I like these, and then they're like, I want to do this. So they'll go and they won't do any research. They'll just like start beading, and they'll start selling it, and they'll start like making a whole business out of making beadwork, but they don't really have like they don't have any Indigenous ancestry, or they didn't do any like kind of research into like their own background, and they're coming from a place of greed where they just they know that like beadwork will sell, so they know that they'll make money, so they're just doing it to make money. See a lot of like non-Indigenous people make like Indigenous, like I look at it, I'm like, I'm pretty sure a Native person made that, but then I'm like, that's weird, and then they're selling it and they're profiting off of it. Giving my dad is Indigenous, my mother is white. I love giving my mother my beadwork because she cherishes it and she wears it, and she's so proud to tell everyone that her daughter made it. Like that is what I love, like things like that. But yeah, then there's the other side of it, and it's like, oh, like I want to start a beading business, but I'm not Indigenous. I just like want to make money. That's when it's like, no, stop. You're doing something wrong.
I'm wondering what it means to you, as well as how it is to be a young Indigenous woman as an entrepreneur.
I think it is the biggest act of like resistance towards like colonialism ever. I feel like I'm doing exactly what they like wanted to get rid of. Like this is exactly what they didn't want to happen, but I'm doing it. And I love it. Because we were supposed to not be here anymore. But now here I am selling my art for a living. I'm an act of resistance in itself.
Do you see your business growing?
Oh. I couldn't even have fathomed this. So was one of my goals was to like do like some sort of like interview or like talk to another Indigenous person about it in like a formal setting. So like this was like one of my goals. One of my like big goals is to partake in Indigenous Fashion Week. If one day I can get my business like to the point where I could like make like beaded earrings that could be featured on like one of the models, that would be insane. So maybe one day.
I think you're on the track.
Yeah,
You are.
hope so.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so. Just thank you for having me and for giving me an opportunity to talk about my work and my story. And I hope I made my dad proud.
It's been an absolute pleasure. That's it for us at Local Lives.